Welcome to the 5G podcast.
We're glad you're here.
We hope you enjoy our conversation about God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode.
All right.
Jen, down the list sounds fine.
Officially, welcome to the 5G podcast.
Thank you.
We have with us our wonderful second guest.
That's right.
We don't know how to do this with guests.
Hey, that's okay. I figure I probably introduced myself.
Yeah.
Is the idea.
This is Sir Caleb
Yes.
of
Caleb.
the Daft Humans, as our group is known.
He's been knighted.
Hey, I'll take it even though I'm daft. As long as I can build myself out of the daft segment,
Any
the
time
knighthood is better than the peasantry. So, but yeah, I'm Caleb. I've been these two friends for longer than I've not been their friends.
We did the math on that last week.
Yeah, so
You and I are approaching 2 decades.
Yeah. So majority of life, these have been the pals. So
And not just like the pals.
the boys.
It's been like, there was one summer, I remember this, where you and I, probably around 7th or 8th grade, literally spent almost every single day, except for Sundays, with each other.
It's true. It's true.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to get on started with the first topic. The first topic, as noted in the agenda.
This is how we start every podcast.
Yes, this is
Long-time viewers will know.
I can't even start it.
I was going to let you handle it.
I know. Well, we're gonna ask him. What's your size preference on penises?
I knew there would be some garbage in here.
All right.
Clearly, you need something really large. Like everyone wants size.
We're going like, are we talking like horse or dragon?
No, size preference. I'm just saying, like, you need something really big. You know, I think something around like 3 inches is
Oh, that's
enough.
massive.
I know. I recognize that that's pretty large. But something around 3 inches, it's a lot for people to handle. It's a lot for me to deal with, but I think around 3 inches is the best.
All right.
So if we still have viewers after that, we have our real topic.
My wife would be so disappointed in me.
She's not gonna watch this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You make a fair point.
All right, we'll get to the real topic. The next one is why are you gay? You are gay.
One of the
And now that we've been officially canceled, in the Benin,
It's right here. This is the real Benin.
in the Benin, this is the Benin. Alrighty.
Oh, nobody's gonna know.
Now that we got the dick
Nobody's
jokes
gonna
aside.
know the references. I guess "Why Are You Gay" is very classic.
That's pretty
I think we can. I
Is
think
not
I
like-
think I could convince Ryan to find a clip of it and
And throw it in
insert. Why are you gay?
Morning to you.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Yeah, there
Right
you
there, and then in the Benin.
In the Beninging. In the Beninging. Yeah. In the
Listen properly.
in the Beninging. Yeah. In the Beninging. In the Beninging. In the Beninging.
Right
There you go. There you go.
Hopefully,
A true classic.
hopefully that you've seen the actual video of him like on the pulpit
Yeah.
attempting to read.
And the guy's like, "Listen carefully."
Listen carefully.
Yes.
Yes.
In the menu. It's so
Eh,
good.
what in the Benin in the
It's so bad. It's hilarious.
It's so good. It's so good. All right, Trevor, you want to introduce our real topics here? You're the resident expert of the podcast on this. We have our guest expert on the
Our
next
guest
topic.
expert, that's correct. So we want to start off talking about some 3D printing, because that is a fun hobby we've mentioned before, and even we have our guest expert here. You can share as little or as much as you want.
Sure.
About your recent
Sure.
ventures.
So, 3D printing. I've done it for a while. I enjoy it a lot. I've made a lot of cool things, and I can draft things, and so it's fun to have made. I've made several things to fix things around the house. And recently, I've decided to get into trying to do a business with my 3D printing because I'm skillful at it. What it boils down to, I know what I'm doing. I can design parts. So all I've really done so far is work with your previous guest, Colin. I've worked with him, getting terrain put together for Warhammer, and then I've also put an advertisement up on Craigslist of all places. I don't know who's going to be
In the men looking for men section?
whatever gets me business, Steven. Okay.
You didn't specify what type of business. I'm just
a 3D printing business.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
but you know, we'll see if anything comes from that. But it's been fun to just like theorize how I might make money with 3D printing, because I have a skill set. I've worked on the skill set. I know how to run the slicers and the softwares and I know how to draft parts so that they print well and stuff like that. So.
That's an interesting thing that like I think sets you apart, because like I'm a 3D printer hobbyist, 3D printer enthusiast of like, oh yes, I steal files off the internet and then print them because they look cool. But like you actually know how to draft your own things.
Yeah.
So I think that makes it a bit more premium.
Hopefully so. Like if somebody has a specific use case, like I need 30 of these things that will clip onto the side of the table or whatever, just as like a random example.
Like,
then
right.
I'll be like, okay, well, let me go to your place. I'll measure the table. Or give me the dimensions, and I can make that thing. I'm not an artist, so if anyone's like, oh, well, give me some like a bust of a D&D miniature or like a whatever a character, I couldn't in a million years, I don't think.
Yeah,
but I think legit, I can do anything that's normal, like machine tools. I can do anything that's a tool.
Yeah.
There's nothing super decorative. I can do slight decorative, but anyway, it's really enjoyable. I've always enjoyed 3D printing as a hobby itself, and then now that I'm figuring if I manage my time well, I can make a good side income. Nothing huge. I don't plan on doing a print farm or anything, but yeah. So that's the gist. It's really cool, really fun.
Want a shameless plug?
Yeah, so I have Instagram only. Instagram only so far. But Storehouse Print, one word on Instagram.
Or Craigslist.
Craigslist in the Greater Phoenix area. You will find Storehouse Print. Free consultations.
Hey.
So that's where we're at. Check it out.
And
there.
if you use the code Storehouse Print at the 5G store, you get a 10% discount.
We have a store?
I didn't know. Where's the merch? Gotta get the merch.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
There you go.
There you go. Reasonable.
What you got to do is start selling it, and then if people buy it, then you figure out how to make the shirt.
Oh,
so you just offer the shirt?
Is that a legal thing? We just
no, you can literally just. I've seen people do this.
It's a thing. You just outsource
where
it.
they know exactly, because like you either do. There's two ways to do it, right? You either buy a bunch of inventory and then sell it on your website, or you pre-sell all the inventory and then close the sale for this limited edition merch, and then you know exactly to the T how many shirts or jackets or whatever you need,
and you outsource it anyway.
Exactly, and then you know exactly, like, you already have the money to do it.
Yeah,
because they've already prepaid for it. You've already made the profit, and then you just need to give them a T-shirt.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
And many people do that.
Right. The only downside is like, shipping time is longer there. But
yeah.
As long as you don't promise a short shipping time.
Yeah, exactly. I think people know going into that. So,
like if you say like this is a pre-order, order will be fulfilled by this day, or whatever, Anyway.
That's an idea.
There you go.
Yeah,
there's your merch.
17 people who watch this.
Coming soon to you.
In like however long it takes you guys to get some viral video out, you'll want it set up before the viral video. So you might as well.
True. True. Nice. So the next topic we kind of wanted to go into is kind of something you did in your introduction, and it was kind of just like how long we've been friends. and I thought maybe we could, go into how we met, which is not like we met at school, right? So it's like kind of a forced meeting environment.
Mm-hmm.
But
Not
then,
a unique experience either, right?
No, like everyone makes friends in middle school and elementary school and stuff like that. But I think our friendships, collectively us three, is kind of unique in that we've been friends for like I said, nearly 2 decades, like 20 years of our lives, which is like insane.
13 years,
yeah. So Caleb, you and I have been friends since 5th grade. Was like when we. I think we knew each other before that, did we?
Oh, we were in the same like classes, but I don't think we ever interacted really.
Yeah, but 5th grade, we had the same teacher, and she sat us next to each other.
We're in the same pod. I remember.
Yeah, the same six. I don't remember what. It was 4 or 6. And I was a bad influence on you, basically. Is how the friendship started. Side tangent real quick, as we all know. At your wedding, your dad comes up to me and he goes, "Oh no, it was at the dinner. It was at the dinner. The dinner. Yeah." And your dad goes, and he's, "I'm so grateful for this table of young men right here." And he points to our table, and it's like me and Trevor calling, and we're all like looking at each other. Like, well, that's such a good influence. And I go, I audibly go, and then your mom came up to me as well, and she was like, "I'm so glad that he had you as an influence in his life." And I was like, "I don't know what y'all are thinking I did. Like, this is definitely the opposite."
In reality, like the boys raised me almost more than my family did, just due to circumstance. Like, yeah, you guys legit did. They were not lying. Like, you guys have been a great, amazing influence in my life, and I appreciate it.
All right. Let's stop sucking each other off.
Just saying.
That's for the after show.
I'm be grateful. Come on.
That's true.
That's candid.
And yeah. So 5th grade. I think the core memory when we actually we were like, oh, by the way, now we're friends.
We are friends now.
Like, it was we had this substitute teacher. I don't know if you remember.
You're going to be reminding me, because my memory of elementary school is almost nothing.
We had this substitute teacher, and we did not love, at least I didn't love my 5th grade teacher, our 5th grade teacher.
Yeah, I do remember that. Not great.
Not the best person in the world. But we had a substitute teacher, and we had this dumb assignment or whatever, a 5th grade assignment, which was probably color the shark blue or something like that. It was probably something so ridiculously simple. But we had this assignment, and we did the assignment. And did the assignment, and then the final thing was to staple the 2 pages together and then turn it into the little bin or whatever, right? So we completed the assignment, and then I decided it would be hilarious, which in hindsight it kind of is hilarious, to not break any of the rules, but expand upon them. And instead of just one staple, I stapled around the entire edge. And then you must have thought that was hilarious, because you then proceeded to do the exact same thing. And we turned ours in right on top of one another's, so they were right there next to each other. And then the next, I don't remember if it was the next day or the next couple days, our real teacher was grading the papers, and she
what?
She called us over to her, or she took us out to out front into the front of the classroom, outside of the door, and she was like, "I don't know what to do, because you guys completed the assignment and then stapled them and turned them in. But this is stupid. So now you guys don't get recess." And so we didn't get recess for 2 days. But that was fine, because we just sat at our desk chatting. You gave a 5th grader detention, effectively. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
Not a real punishment.
I don't know if do you remember that?
I remember vaguely, very vaguely. I don't remember that super sharply.
Yeah, it's just a core memory for me. And then after that, we did band together. And that's kind of where Trevor kind of comes into the picture.
I came in 7th grade band, because we were all at the same junior high at that point.
Because you weren't an Ishikawa dragon.
I still have the entire theme song memorized.
I bet you and I could sing it right now.
I just don't think we should. I don't think we should. But I could. I don't know any my junior high or my high school.
Did junior high have a theme song?
Don't ask
The
me.
Stapley fight song.
I
All right, that's
I
what
don't
we
know.
play the games.
We are the Cougars. We like young men. We are the saber
I thought we were tigers, not
saber
cougars.
cats.
You can speak for yourself on that. But, yeah. Anyway,
we did
sorry.
kind of work our way
we
down the
interrupted.
food chain. Dragons
Dragons.
to saber cats
To
cows. We're the
Hey.
toros.
Toros.
It's a cow.
Hey, it's got horns on it at least, so there's
It's a
that.
male cow, you know.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes, band. I came into the picture. That's you reminded me. Yeah, I was like, oh, 7th grade band. There's some decent memories there, but my core memory unlocked of like when we're friends was really playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
lunch.
7th
Yeah.
grade at lunch.
And before 8 hour or whatever.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yep.
Before
first hour.
Before first.
You
After 8 hour.
We had A hour, and then there was like a 45-minute gap
Yep.
between A hour and first hour.
For some reason, because
so
their
dumb.
time management is awful.
So we were like, let's go play Yu-Gi-Oh at the library.
Yeah. I
chess.
remember getting roasted so much by everyone. My junior
we got-
We're in the library in junior high. We're getting roasted by other nerds.
Yeah, I know. It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, it's like the girl reading anime is like, or reading manga rather, is like, oh, nerds playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh in the library.
Yeah.
And she goes, I can't believe that you're...
Which, like, wasn't that
Doesn't-
weird?
who cares?
13 years ago, Yu-Gi-Oh was, like, not new.
It
but
was
wasn't
every
old.
every morning, Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah,
with
Everyone
Yu-Gi-Oh.
still knew about Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, it wasn't like it was an obscure thing.
It was so weird. Like, the cards that I liked, because we played kind of, like, almost classic Yu-Gi-Oh! We still played with, like, relatively old cards,
Mhm.
even for that time. But, like, well, yeah, we still just got roasted. But, like, that was a lot of fun for me. And the point I wanted to bring up of, like, probably why we're still friends. We played Yu-Gi-Oh! Outside of school.
Mm-hmm.
I found that that's like crucial. It's like, yeah, everybody makes friends at school, but who do you spend your time with outside of school? That's I feel like those are the
choosing
lasting,
to make the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
those are the lasting relationships because like, I remember distinctly going to your house, playing Yu-Gi-Oh. You guys,
Minecraft, Yu-Gi-Oh.
yeah, like
Yeah.
time outside of school. Like these are my school friends, but it's a Saturday.
So we're hanging out.
We're hanging out. Yeah.
I remember Caleb and I. So we all grew up relatively close to one another in terms of like if we were driving, it's like a 2-minute drive from my house to Trevor's house,
A mile.
and Caleb lived
In
literally
the middle of
Yeah.
those two.
what like maybe I think you're like half a mile from my parents' house.
At most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Trevor's maybe another mile away from your house or something like that.
Yeah.
Very
But
close.
I remember Caleb and I, one of these times where it's like a Friday night or whatever we want to hang out. I would walk over to Caleb's house, have dinner at Caleb's house because his mom would be making some fried food or something, and I never got that growing up. And then we would like walk to Trevor's house because we couldn't drive.
Mhm.
Right.
And so Caleb and I would just spend like I would be walking like 3 miles to go hang out with the
We
boys.
had to trek.
We had to trek uphill both ways in blizzards and heat waves and
That's fun. You just play some video games or something.
I remember walking over to your house and we would play. You had your whole land set up and stuff like
We
that.
played, like, I think we played Left 4 Dead some
that sounds about
around then.
That was a great
I
influence.
think CS Swords.
We were like 12.
12.
Hey guys, I got Left 4 Dead and Halo.
Yeah.
Put 'em up.
Yeah.
I had all the computers set up in my basement when I was young because my dad was in IT, so we just had like 5 extra gaming setups. I mean,
Computers that could run games.
yes, yeah. Back then, that was enough. That was a blast. There were probably a couple birthdays in there where I did parties.
for sure.
Yeah.
And then one of the things that really solidified our friendship was our mutual hatred for one of our teachers in junior high.
Yes.
That's
true. I feel like more than any other topic at the
No,
junior
our
high
hatred for
lunch
2
table.
teachers.
Yeah.
I remember two. I specifically remember two teachers. Obviously, we probably don't want to like be throwing out names. But
Oh,
I
I definitely want to be throwing out names.
Well, I remember the band teacher. I hated the band teacher year 2.
Well, year 2 we were separated because she was like, Trevor and Steven, you guys get to be in the advanced band because we need more tubas.
I think she just separated us because we were not too disruptive. And also, I didn't ever learn how to play the instrument that I was playing.
You played the French horn out for 5 years? Oh, no, 4 years. Just did not. You're like, this seems right.
I just made it. Oh, this sounds good. I'll just extend that. Right now, one of them. It's so bad.
Whereas I was on the opposite end. 7th grade band was a blast, but on a personal level, like I struggled with that teacher because I was like, I'm dying in this band. You got to give me more difficult music. Like,
but you also play the tuba, and the tuba for 7th grade band is do.
Yeah.
Do.
You're carrying the band though. You're the bass line. You're tying everyone together.
She always yelled at you though because you would always play with it like sideways, and you're just sitting there just
taking a nap while also playing your
she's
instrument.
like, come on, you gotta pick your instruments up. That's the signal. And I was like, this thing is heavy, and I'm gonna play 4 notes the whole song. I'm sleeping.
It doesn't matter.
and one of them is a whole note that's for 17 measures.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm bored. Like, I don't want to pick up the tuba.
Yeah.
So that's why, yeah, we both went to it.
Which looking back was the biggest mistake ever. To put me in advanced band.
Oh man.
I played the French horn about as well as a fish breathing air.
You bring dishonor to your family.
That's true. Your mom is like the most professional French horn players.
Yeah, that's true.
I bet that's probably what the teacher was thinking. Was like, well,
So, fun
this is
story.
good.
Her daughter is currently getting French horn lessons from my mother.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The one that she was pregnant with when we were there?
Oh, son of a whore! So true.
It's ridiculous.
I did not even connect those dots.
I remember she had a substitute.
Yeah. Oh, he was the greatest.
It was actually cool. He had a motorcycle accident and cheese grated his face off.
He didn't have a jaw.
And had to plastic surgery his face back
Why do
together.
we remember this so up in 8th grade or whatever?
Because he was way better than the actual teacher.
And then the other teacher we hated was an English teacher.
Yeah.
Which Trevor, we didn't all 3 have together. Trevor, you and I had her together.
Yeah,
in
because we were
7th grade.
advanced.
Which
English.
I don't know why I ever took these advanced courses because literally.
There's no value.
Also, fun story. Here's my fun story about that class.
Hmm.
It's my lowest grade ever in 1 quarter,
Wow.
and I was attempting to
1 quarter, yeah, you told me.
because. So what happened was I got a C or a B or something like that in the first half of the year.
Or like you were actually trying.
Well, not like trying, but like I was just like doing the stuff, but I wasn't like trying to like ace the class,
I
right?
love English.
And my parents were getting on my case. They're like, "It's like, why are you doing this?" I was like, if it's easy, you can get a better grade. I'm like, but I don't give a rip about it. And they were getting on me, and like the teacher was like getting on me about it, and I was like, "This is dumb. Like, the class is stupid." So literally, 3rd quarter, I actively tried to get the lowest grade possible, and I ended up that quarter with a 17%.
That's so rough.
Not a 0.
It's so rough.
Like you did something.
But he showed up. There's like the being there.
I'm sure that there was like some participation points, and I'm sure I like turned in an assignment or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a 17% in the class in that quarter.
Wow.
And I had to have a parent-teacher conference with the teacher.
Did you set this up just so your parents could meet the teacher and be like,
Oh no, my mom had already met the teacher. My mom had already met the teacher and was like, "Yeah, good luck with that."
Your dad was like, well, you need to do better. Your mom was like,
You know what's funny about that? And both my sisters went through the same junior high, and they loved her. She was both of their favorite teacher, like the best. I think what happened is in the time that it took us to get there, she just like got jaded or something and was no longer a good teacher, or something happened and she just like didn't care anymore. Man, bad.
Wow.
Bad.
It wasn't even
My
like
sisters loved her.
Well, I know for me, 7th grade was when I started developing my smartassery.
Yeah.
And that was really my first experiment into that was 7th grade English.
Yeah.
So,
So you had to be a little
and that was a downhill slope.
a never ending
Especially English classes, actually.
exponential curve down, you know. Something.
Yeah.
approaching the asymptote of zero.
The smart asymptote.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got a 17% quarter 3, and junior high was all graded in quarters, not semesters. Or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the fourth quarter, the last quarter, I got literally like a 98% in the class. And so I ended with like a 62% or something.
Like just enough.
Is passing for junior high. Yeah.
And so I was like, see, I don't need to do anything in these classes. Like, and then my parents were like, you do you, bro. If you're gonna like purposely fail a class, have at it.
Yeah.
Was that? Oh, I was gonna say that wasn't your last advanced English course because we also had 8th grade English together. Yeah.
I did advanced English all the way through high school.
All the way through high school? Yeah, you weren't in AP English, though, right?
No. That was senior year.
Yeah,
I didn't do AP English senior
Gotcha,
year.
gotcha.
Didn't you only do like four courses?
I was like, because I also dropped out of advanced English by junior year. Like, English is
No,
not
so
easy.
I did. What did I do? I did sophomore year. I did advanced English.
Okay.
And then junior year. What was the reason that I didn't do it junior year?
Because they had more fun classes.
Oh, they did. Yeah, that's right. Because I took
Mythology.
mythology and I took a writing class.
Yeah, that's what I did as well.
do they still have creative writing back in? Because I know there was a time they had it and then they got rid of it, like while we were there before we could take it or something.
Yeah.
Or,
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
I did college prep writing. That one was actually pretty solid because it was like write a cover page, write a
Sure.
business
I
letter.
did. So my senior year, I did. Well, we did British literature together,
Mhm.
which was our English class,
Oh yeah.
and then I did the dual enrollment.
Oh yeah, English 101.
English 101.
Yeah, that was solid.
Which was dual enrolled with the community college, and so
Mhm.
I did that, and that was actually a great class.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a bunch.
You and I didn't have together.
No, we didn't because I think you took it the semester after.
I took it the second semester.
Second semester. Yeah. I did 101 first and then 102.
Yeah. Anyway.
If we would have taken that one together, that would have been blast.
Well, I still had a blast because there was like 12 people in the class the second semester.
Oh, really?
There's like 12 of us in there. And so we were all just like, and I had like a couple of wrestlers in there.
Oh,
and,
nice.
I don't know if you guys remember Kyle Zabakursky.
Tall guy?
Yeah, tall,
Yeah.
orange hair,
Yeah.
swimmer.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was in that class, and I don't know how, but I had become friends with him. He was friends with Ty.
Yes.
Whoa. Yeah, that was a dark period in our history.
Yeah.
That was we had to like boot him off the table because he was just too much.
Yeah.
I remember that. You know, I accidentally stabbed Kyle Zabakursky in this whole class. in class. He was behind me, he was bothering me, and I was like I was taking my pencil, I was like fake stabbing him with my pencil on his leg. And then like one time, I just like forgot to stop.
You're like, I'm pretending. Oops.
It legitimately was, but I just full on just shaped his knee with my pencil.
Man.
And he was very pissed. As he should be.
Yeah.
But
What's funny, this is jogging my memory. I mean, you and I had, in high school, had wrestling. You guys had an English class or two, and I know you did some of the shop classes together. But yeah, in high school, we didn't really have many, like, classes all together.
And indeed, lunches were often not together.
Yeah.
That was rough for me.
We tried, sometimes we had lunches together. And so I have memories of, like, playing blackjack at lunch.
I think that was only early high school, because I remember my senior year, I took every single lunch and practiced choir sight reading so I could try to get into regionals and all-state. And so I know for sure that that you guys weren't at my same lunch.
Right.
Because I would have just done that instead. Hung out with you guys.
Yeah, see, that's very interesting because senior year, I'm sure I hung out with, like, other people.
Yeah.
And nobody outside of school.
Yep.
So that was
And then we kept hanging out consistently still, regardless.
I remember senior year, we didn't have class the second half of the semester. So the second semester, the second half of the day, Trevor and I didn't have class.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so We literally also went over to Trevor's house like every day
Yeah, that sounds about
to
right.
have lunch.
Dang, jealous.
And
I was on the other lunch. I feel like most of high school, I was always
We
on the
just
other
had
lunch.
government senior together, didn't we?
yeah, we did.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
Did we have? We had a seminary class together as well.
we did. That was junior year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because at least I don't know if did what was his name? The teacher. Didn't he come up to us
Oh yeah.
and like tell us to stop sleeping during class?
Yeah, because it was right after morning wrestling practice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had, I
just
would
wrestled for an hour and a half.
I would make you that. Well, it wasn't even wrestling for an hour and a half. We would go run 2
all the
miles,
conditioning.
and sometimes Trevor and I were carrying each other
Nice.
for 2 miles. Like
And then rotate.
Yeah.
it's like, geez Louise. And then we'd go and run bleachers or do whatever other insanity and torture
Burpees.
for an hour.
Everyone's favorite exercise.
Yeah, who invented that?
A masochist.
But yeah, we would go to the seminary first hour, and then
Just
literally just like, oh yes, the prayer, I'm praying. Head on scriptures, gone. And he came, and we were like Trevor and I, like not disruptive. We were sitting at the very back, and then the teacher was like, "Hey guys, you should wake up," and we were like, "No."
That's not gonna happen.
I would love to, but my body says no. Can't.
Well, and I would make these real heavy protein shakes
Mhm.
with like 80 grams of protein, peanut butter, milk, yogurt, banana,
Yeah.
honey, like this, like
Way too
Mhm.
much. Like
500 calories plus per shake.
Well,
It wasn't mass
any
gaining.
shake. I know, but that'd be surprised if it wasn't more than 500 calories.
Yeah,
Well, I guess it depends on how big it was. Anyway,
they weren't that. I don't know. Anyway, and we would down those, and then I would make my signature French toast sandwich.
which we've talked about before. Yeah.
sounds good.
Piece of French toast, Nutella, piece of French toast, crunchy peanut butter.
Crunchy peanut butter.
Smush those together. You got a great breakfast.
That sounds quite tasty, I will say.
It's delicious, and it's the best carb load.
It sustains.
Yeah.
But then, like, you eat that, and then, like, an hour later, you're like, and I'm done.
If you had that today, that would probably be enough calories to last the whole
The whole
day.
day. Yeah. I saw a sandwich recently where somebody did on one piece of bread they did like marshmallow fluff, honey, Nutella, and on the other one they had like it was in strips. And so the other one they had like jam and peanut butter and some hazelnut spread, something else.
Something. Yeah.
And then they like offset it
You have a
and then
grid.
put it. Yeah, so you have a grid of flavors, and so every bite's like different mix of
I
flavors.
think I'd probably have an
It's kinda
aneurysm trying to eat that.
You're like,
Where's the consistency?
you gotta get a spreadsheet to like track
Which bite do I go for this time?
Yeah. Oh, which combinations didn't work out, so I can do a different.
Yeah,
next
yeah,
time.
yeah.
You really gamify your
Yeah.
eating.
Have the maximum
I'm gonna-
tasty
I'm going to
sandwich.
segue into a topic that wasn't on our list, but I think is relevant.
We always have unexpected.
Yeah, of course.
Always. Mostly mine. If we're being honest. And Trevor probably hates it. He's like, this is not what we planned!
It's not on the schedule.
That's the point of the podcast. Casual.
We have, at least for whatever reason, you had, I don't know how you even like to broach this topic.
You said you had a good segue.
Well, I know, I didn't say I had a good segue. I said I was going to segue.
I'm expecting a segue.
Just,
Like, in fact, that's funny you say that. He walks out and grabs the segway.
just have like a full blown
The gift.
segue. No, I don't know if it was in high school or like post coming home from our missions or what, but you and I got like really into smoking meats for like a good long while there and cooking like really good foods.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
And like we had like, the bread with the freaking balsamic.
I tried to do that the other day, and they didn't have any of the bread, and I was just devastated. It was like what I was going to do for dinner. I was going to cook dinner for Mary, and
I mean, that's probably one of the best things I've ever made.
it's so good with the garlic butter.
Yeah,
Garlic butter,
the garlic, little bit of butter.
Well, a lot of butter too, but it's just a lot of everything.
Extra garlic.
Yeah.
Garlic butter.
Yep, that's good stuff.
Anyway,
I still have my Traeger. I just don't use it very often. I just find myself busy, and
yeah.
like now that I don't do my own meal preps, it's not like Mary doesn't know how to use it.
It's not important to smoke the whole pork butt.
Yeah, well,
just throughout the week.
yeah, well, I do that still. Like we still meal prep, but it's just like Mary does most of it, and it's usually like chicken in the air fryer or ground beef or whatever, like, which is totally fine. It's good. But I just don't usually take the time to like smoke the meat. But I've been thinking about recently, like I want to do another pulled pork, a nice pork butt.
That was my, I don't know, that was my the necessary gastronomy section.
Yeah, there you go.
We like food.
Very true. Meats specifically.
We have the meats.
Favorite cut of meat?
Ooh,
Depends on how it's being cooked.
Oh well,
And it depends, like, if I'm going to like a steakhouse.
If you're at a steakhouse, what do you pick?
Oh, ribeye, 100%. Bone and ribeye.
porterhouse.
Porterhouse. Okay, I'm a why can I not think of the word? Prime rib.
Prime rib is very good. Sous vide prime rib is very tasty.
And that's like hereditary too, but not by choice. It's kind of funny. Dad and I are both like
Forced upon you.
like with a bit of horseradish and the sous vide. Ooh.
It's so prime rib is like very, very high up there on my tier list as well. But I just can't get over like a really good like medium rare ribeye.
All my in-laws, like every time it's like a excuse for a barbecue, 4th of July, Memorial Day, whatever, ribeye. My in-laws are they're good. Yeah, they cook some good ribeye.
Very nice.
I'm also a really big fan of like a good brisket, but it has to be a good brisket.
Yeah, it's easy to
really
overcook a brisket or do it wrong.
Yeah, I would
If it's done right.
You and I had this conversation, just brief 2-second conversation last night, and I think I mentioned it to Trevor as well. That we went to a barbecue place last night. Barbecue, yeah, barbecue.
Yeah.
Steakhouse. Yeah.
And
Clearly called Bobby Q's, so it better have barbecue.
And I got like a barbecue platter or whatever, and the pulled pork and the brisket were decent, but they had to have a sauce with them in order to be like really good, which was a tad bit not disappointing, but it's always like
I feel like brisket is a sauce is generally expected with brisket though.
But like a really good brisket,
doesn't need it.
You can like get away with it. And
Yeah, but I think I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
to be honest, they have to make so much of it, and it can't be tended to. So.
Next topic. Seems fun.
Dick size.
No, we already talked about that. We already talked about that.
Done. Well, this is the serious podcast.
Sorry.
Your timer on dick jokks had like
It's expired. Oh, yeah.
Gotta get another one.
Now it's another, near the end of the podcast. We'll get another one somewhere. Yeah.
We're gonna talk about Magic the Gathering.
I don't think that's ever been talked about on the podcast before.
Never. This is
I don't.
We're breaching new
So,
ground.
for those who aren't aware, Magic the Gathering.
It's not one of the 5 Gs. But,
it's into it.
Yeah, it's a game actually.
A game and a gathering.
Gathering. That's the secret 6G.
Yeah, there you go.
Gay?
No.
That's the 7th G?
There's a lot of potential G's. Okay? Let's just talk about the ones we planned on. Okay.
Magic the Gathering. We started out young and inexperienced with Yu-Gi-Oh. We eventually grew into the true adults game. Magic the Gathering.
Yes.
I'm going to trigger like 4 people right
I was gonna try to do a disclaimer like, no, Yu-Gi-Oh's fine too. I don't think I can say that.
Yeah.
There's no. What baffles me is that there's no resource in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
You just play cards.
And the game's been out almost 20 years, and that's an issue. But in for a penny, in for a pound. So
Yeah.
That's too late.
it's too late. Their power creep over 20 years with no resources is just like, you literally flip a coin. Who wins on turn 1? Fun.
Yeah.
I played the digital client with my brother a little bit. Master Duel, I think it's called. It's hilarious because it's like
That's actually turn 2 wins,
it's
basically.
actually flipping a coin, and we would just like trash each other. Just you played that stupid card, and then next time you're like, but you're playing the same stupid card. Yeah, but I have this one piece that's slightly different. Like, no, there's no deck diversity. You could argue that's about Magic the Gathering on a competitive scene as well, but we play Commander.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about Magic decks in general. We're thinking of a timeline. First decks you built, and then maybe the next deck you're thinking of. So Steven, you're pretty recent in the hobby.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any. What's your first Magic?
Kick
deck?
us off.
We'll go with the past.
Yeah. So the first Magic deck that I ever built was my Ninjutsu deck,
Yeah.
which is decent for me.
It works.
okay. It works. Does what it's meant to do, more or less. And yeah, I like that was this year. I guess technically last year was the first time I ever built a deck.
Mm-hmm.
I had played the game before. I actually never played Commander prior to 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I don't know because I don't know. Anyway, but I'm pretty new into the hobby, as it were, and yeah. So the ninjutsu deck was the first deck I built. I had precons previous to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
The oldest deck I built.
I don't know how long now that you and Colin were like Magic is fun. I was like, sure. I bought a precon. I don't remember. It was the worst precon of the set. It was awful. I don't remember. It was the white, like the humans, human tribal precon garbage. It was so bad. So bad. So bad. And then I think very shortly after that, because it was such a bad deck, I very soon, if I remember right, made Arcades the Strategist.
Oh.
Made my wall deck. I think that, or was it my combo deck? My rock combo deck. One of those two.
Around there.
One of those two. I know they were either one was first and then the other, or opposite, vice versa. And but that kicked off a. I have way too many decks now. Way too many. Whole backpack, like almost full of decks at this point. So
Nice.
yeah.
What was your first deck?
So yeah, that's I've got two different answers to that because as you mentioned, Colin and I had been playing Magic for a while, and I'd been playing since before that with my brothers.
But you weren't playing Commander before.
Exactly, back in the days of good old kitchen table Magic. Even my brothers were playing. They didn't even have Modern back then. It was just Magic. It was just,
Like standard.
Yeah, the competitive format is just what you played. So I had my deck, my first one, 60 cards, right? Was Samurais actually.
Ooh, very cool.
Close to his ninjutsu.
The ninjas, yeah. Back in original Kamigawa, the ninja theme was cool. Or sorry, samurai theme was cool. It was red, white, and had the Bushido keyword, which I thought was cool. But looking back, I'm like, this is a terrible keyword. these guys are trash, but they look cool. I remember one distinctly. There was like a fox samurai. I thought he was my favorite. I had 4 of them in there.
Oh yeah, because you can run multiple. Yeah, that's right.
Uh-huh. Yeah, kitchen table Magic was weird, but it was like more consistent. But then you're trying to play like 4, 5, 6 player games with 60 card decks.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember we in the high school days we would have and like you would like lend us decks and we'd be like, I have enough mana for this card. What does that do? And you have to like explain it.
Well, I don't know what it is, but like I could not understand the cards. Like when we would play it, I'd be like, this, like I just didn't have any frame of reference. Like I didn't know what these keywords meant. I didn't know what any of these other things meant. So I would like sit there like trying to read it, and I was like, what the freak is a 1/1 counter? Like I can count to 1, but like why would I do it twice?
I didn't want and one. I don't make it doesn't make any
Give you the
sense.
best tutorial back there.
He's like, yeah, I'll pick it up. Just start playing.
Here's a deck. Just play cards. Whatever. I need a person to play against.
Yeah,
Pick a deck.
Yeah.
So that was the first.
So
one.
wait, you have to explain what Bushido did.
Oh yeah, Bushido. It's terrible. It's whenever this creature blocks or becomes blocked, it gets a +X bonus. So it's like Bushido 2. If it's a 2/2, if you block it, it becomes a 4/4.
Scary attacker.
Yeah. Well, only if they block. If you just don't block, you're like, all right, I'll take 2 damage.
2 damage.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really fair enough.
10%. That's 10%. That's
It was
good.
red white aggro. I
Yeah.
played a bunch of samurais, and then
It's
they got
fun.
bigger. One of the legendary dudes in my deck, he gave all my samurais Bushido 5.
Oh my
Ooh,
goodness.
that's like pretty good.
Never to be blocked again.
Don't do better not block.
Yeah.
Turn a 2/2 into a 7/7.
Then you just have to give them all trample. Then it might make sense.
Then maybe.
Then they have to choose to block.
Yeah.
Then it makes sense.
So Bushido. That was the first one I remember having, and then several decks since then. That's where my addiction started.
What was your first commander deck?
First Commander deck was 2013 when Commander came out as an official product. When Wizards of the Coast, finally acknowledged its
Recognized it.
because they didn't make the format. They had a set of precons in 2013, and my brother and I both got a precon for Christmas, I think, in 2013. And to this day, I still have this commander. It's Gave Guru.
Oh,
Explorers.
nice. Like true classic.
was the precon, the face commander for that deck. So I guess I'll have it somewhere. I've got a giant card of them. And they had like 3 other commanders in the deck. Those other 2 have like way fallen off into obscurity. But Gave is like still a really good combo commander. He's
The menace of goblins.
yeah,
For me.
black, green, white. He's just like everything to do with 1/1 counters, sacrificing creatures, and 1/1 sapperling creature tokens. And so the original deck was okay. Obviously,
First attempt.
yeah, and also in 2013, the pre-con that they made was just like a mishmash of like these cards are the right color, because that's what Commander was supposed to be. It was evolution from casual kitchen table Magic. So I like this card. So I don't know how many times I like edited that deck over the years and just this is a cool green card. I put it in my favorite Commander deck. But now it's at the point where it's like, all right, that's a pretty good deck. Actually, I've tuned that from when I was 14.
Not a whole lot to it, add or take away. It does its job.
It does its job.
It's got its thing, yeah.
And Commander these days, I can't really just like, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, like I can't just put an 8-mana 7/7 in there that has a funny picture of a cat on it. Like,
But they tried to do that recently.
They tried.
They're trying right now, I guess.
Yeah. The Capybara, I'm probably going to just put that in a deck. That's a Capybara. It goes in the deck. It's fun.
Yeah. There you go.
I'll have to show you guys a funny video later. It's about capybaras.
Oh, solid. There you go. Yeah, so that was my first
So
Commander.
now you got to talk about your future.
Yes.
Future. You will go back around
We'll go back.
this way. So what's the plan? What's brewing?
Yeah, so as far as what's brewing, what's for the future of Commander, I'm quitting. No.
How about these decks?
This is
Thousands of dollars of cards.
in the garbage. No, yeah,
You can just donate them to charity.
yeah.
Can you imagine what your wife would say if you came back with 2,000 Magic cards?
As long as I didn't pay for them, she'd be happy. She'd be
Fair
fine.
enough.
Yeah, I was talking to Steven the other day. I have a 32 deck challenge in mind. That's the name for it. To build one of every color combination in Magic for Commander. And Steven saw my list the other day. And what was the title? It was like Cascade, but green.
Yeah.
Mono green Cascade?
No, because I have my Cascade deck that's blue, black, red.
Okay.
And then this deck is titled as just Cascade, but also green.
Added to the top.
Yeah, so it's a 4-color deck. And I told Steven, I haven't even built this deck yet. It builds itself.
Yeah.
Really? Like
in the gather page or whatever, it's like has keyword Cascade.
Cascade.
Is
Your
green.
No, just anything but blue.
Green
Yeah.
ramp. Like done. Like I could crank out this assignment in 20 minutes. if I had to. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you made the analogy of if this was a college assignment due at 11:59 on midnight, I would start it at 11:30.
yeah. Start at 11:30. Give it
Yeah.
a take.
Get it done. Very nice.
So yeah, some of the decks are like, I'll push those off. Those are later projects. See if something more interesting comes around. But really, like when you get to the 4 or a 5-color Commander deck, there's every color, every card in existence to put in your deck. You're like, I got to pick 100 of the best cards.
Yeah, out of the tens of thousands.
And so for me, it really does. It builds itself. Of like, after I put in all the good cards, there's nothing left. There's no room. So, what do I actually want to build next? Probably another monocolor deck.
Nice.
Because those are a fun challenge. I have a white and a black deck both made that I think would maybe be fun to print out and try. And then
You don't want a big green stompy deck?
Borrow yours.
I was like, I want to do something interesting with some of the other with all the monocolors really. Like
You got to get the world spine. No, not world
the
spine.
World Slayer,
What's the one where you put 100 counters on it and win the game? The green.
Helix Pinnacle.
Mono green Helix Pinnacle.
Yeah,
That would be interesting. I
Well,
think that would be really fun.
That would just be a Vornclex. You just make
Vortex would definitely go in the deck,
Sure.
and maybe potentially be the commander still, but not for the sake of 1/1 counters. You'd want to get You want to like, somehow be able to put counters on it, like it, or something.
They,
I don't
they
know.
just came out with that new card, the Infinitum calendar.
I saw some. There's a funny subreddit for bad Magic combos, and somebody was like with that calendar, but they did it wrong because that calendar, it's like whenever you untap a permanent during your untap step, it puts a counter on it, and then if you have 1,000 counters on it, everybody loses 1,000 life, then you win or something. But any combo that you would think of, like I'm going to untap my guy a billion times,
It has to be
during your
untap.
untap step, so you can't do that. It has to be normal untaps.
So it's really bad. The card itself.
The card itself lets you double the number of counters on it.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Okay, that's reasonable.
It's like if you, and it's not that expensive to play.
No,
I think it's like 2 mana.
Maybe 1. You might even.
Dang,
get that
that's a
on
Vorinclex. That's a Vorinclex card.
Because you're putting counters onto it at the beginning of every upkeep.
You have got to pay 2 mana into it to double it each turn.
Yeah,
But I ramp a lot.
yeah, but Vorinclex like would quadruple it.
Yeah.
Pretty quick.
They're both out.
To 1,000.
Quadrupling, that's pretty good.
I mean, you go from 250 to 1,000.
Yeah.
Easy.
Get to 250. All you need is 60-ish counters.
If my calculations are correct, that's like 4 turns or something.
Yeah, not too bad.
Especially
Well,
if
you guys remember the card, the fractal one, where you play. I have it in my deck. Where you play it, and every upkeep I get or at the end of the turn or whatever, whenever it happens, I get a fractal, and it doubles the counters on the card, and the fractal has that many 1/1 counters. So we've seen it like. Well, I've got 36 counters on this enchantment, and so I've got 400. Like I don't know the actual math.
Quadruples
Like,
there.
because it quadruples, because it doubles itself and then makes the thing. So it doubles itself, and then because it's doubling itself, Vorinclex doubles it, and then makes the fractal with that many counters, and then that's doubled. And so it's like if you set it up the right way, it can be pretty efficient. You get to 1,000 pretty quick.
So yeah, that's always what I'm thinking, especially with monocolor decks, because it's easy to do. Just like aggro, I am one color. It's simple. Or mono green Stompy, which surprised me because that is a solid deck. Getting out an 11/11 on.
Dude, I'm pretty happy with that deck.
It
works well.
awesome.
Like
Good one.
it's been my best performing deck out of all the decks I've built.
That's why I'd want to do. I have blue. I started out saying it was blue wizard tribal, but it turned into a blue combo deck.
Yeah. It was going to be Wizard Aggro.
Wizard
That's
Aggro.
the joke. I'm going to use my Wizard Aggro deck. So we're losing on turn 5.
Something that's like, abnormal. Wizard Aggro. Turns out a lot of wizards are good combo pieces. So, my black deck that I have built is just toxic. So maybe I won't actually put that one on paper. I've shown you both, but it's just nobody's allowed to have creatures out on board ever.
Got to just make that land destruction deck, get everyone.
I'll do a mono red land destruction.
There you go.
Something.
Dude, land destruction is kind of a dick move.
It is, but that's why, we don't have it in our playgroup at all, except for Hanson's.
Yeah, but that deck's fine because it takes 17 turns to get anything going.
It takes a long time to get
So
going.
it's like okay,
Efficient land destruction? Oh boy.
Yeah. Mono red, I'm going to be playing 4 mana Stone Rain, destroy target land.
4 mana, it's so good.
That's
so good.
You get 1 land off the board.
Yeah, just kill everyone's Gaia's Cradle or whatever, and
the Cabal Coffers.
Cabal Coffers, and there you go. There you go.
So yeah, I have a specific idea for anything I'm building right now, but I'm probably leaning towards a good monocolor deck to build.
Nice.
What are you doing?
I am in the upgrade segment of my Magic career and experience right now. I have so many decks, and so many of them were made quickly without much thought.
Yeah.
And they were just good enough to have a concept that is fun. Sometimes they go off. Sometimes it happens. It's good enough. And so I'm trying to update them to current standard.
Yeah.
In the sense that most of my not most of my decks. I'd say half my decks are just basically unplayable. I wouldn't have any fun because the other decks I'm playing against are just better. To the point that I just play a land, pass, and then it's 30 minutes before it gets back to my turn. Play a land, play this 30 minutes till it's my turn. You know what I mean? And so my current goals are upgrading my decks. I just did my walls recently, and I'm very happy. I upgraded enough that I can play the game.
It's more consistent, lets you do the thing.
Yeah, I can do the thing, and it's I'm not going to win I'm not making them ridiculously powerful, but I'm making them fun to play again. And so I did that with my Legends Matters deck, and I think that one's like turned out really well. I'm quite happy with that one. And so I think I'm moving on potentially to my Spider Tribal, my value, or the Rakdos deck. One of those two. Not Rakdos, sorry.
Have a Rakdos?
No, Jund.
Jund.
The Jund. The yellow sleeves. The Mr. Orfeo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Orfeo. That one.
Fling.
Fling Tribal, basically. Just pump as fast and hard as possible, then kill somebody in one hit.
Creatures at people and kill them.
I also would like to upgrade my Jund deck at some point because I do think that that commander has some like serious potential.
Got some good potential. Oh yeah.
But
So that's me.
Cool.
upgrading decks, huh?
Upgrading decks. I don't have any plans for new, because I haven't even followed. Like I just any magic
You just
news
have to
I
follow
get
the
from
5G podcast.
That's legit. That's the only source of magic news that I come by nowadays. I
And if
don't.
you stop following Magic News for a month,
You're done.
that's it. You're done.
Yeah.
Your decks are outdated, and you've gone.
So I just like when I feel like it, I doctor a deck on Mox Field or whatever I'm choosing, and print out the cards and play the game.
My next deck, besides the upgrades to my Ninja deck and my Jund deck, Second War Deathkeeper. I'm building a 5-color deck. I don't know if I've told you about
Is it enchantments?
Yes. Ish.
There's enchantments in there.
Most of the cards are enchantments.
Yeah.
Enchantment creatures. Yeah. It's a shrine deck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been very interesting. And Trevor alluded to this, but building 5-color deck is just like, okay, what is the best thing? Throw it in.
It's true, especially when you're not paying for the cards. If you're going to proxy it,
Well, to be fair, I have censored. I don't know if that's what I meant.
sure.
Restricted myself.
$300
I've
card,
restricted
that's
myself.
Yeah.
There was what was the one I texted you about? The $90 one.
Oh yeah. Replenish.
Yeah.
Which is only $90 because it only had one printing in a really old set. One of those Urza sets, I think.
But it's really especially in this deck, it'd be so good because it's a 4-mana. Return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to play.
Yeah, I know it's a white card.
Yeah.
I recognize it now. Yeah,
And so my deck shrines are all enchantments or enchantment creatures, or enchantment creature. What is it?
enchantment creature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dash shrine, right? It's the type, the super type, subtype.
The enchantment subtype.
Anyway, and so just be like, oh yeah, I still have 4 mana up. Well, now I have all of my cards in my graveyard.
Yeah,
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
You know.
And your commander, he duplicates whenever you have an enchantment enter. You get another 1/1 shrine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you play that,
whenever
you get double your shrines.
whenever shrine.
Oh, whenever a shrine.
Oh,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure it's only shrines.
I thought it was non-token enchantments.
That is an important distinction.
Yeah.
That is an important distinction.
Regardless, you basically double up all your enchantments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because most of the shrines, their effects only matter if you have other shrines.
Yeah,
Right? It's
they're like pseudo slivers. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like a couple at the beginning of every upkeep. You create a 1/1 spirit token for each shrine that you control. So it's like if you have the one shrine, it's a 1/1 spirit every upkeep. Or every,
But it scales.
But then
Yeah.
with my commander, it's a shrine. When I play that white shrine, it also makes a shrine. And so for 3 mana, I now make every upkeep. I have 2 creatures plus
multiplies.
plus 3 spirits. You know,
pretty good.
And then there's there's shrines that let me draw cards and make other people lose life.
Some removal.
Make
here
people
and there.
mill. You know, each creature gets minus X. You pay 3, tap this shrine, pay 3 mana. Each creature gets minus X, where X is the number of shrine you control.
Solid idea. It'll be fun to play.
Somebody's got to play one of those cards for like target. Like you name a type, and then it destroys everything but that type. That's got to be a removal or a board wipe, right?
Yes.
Either name a creature type.
Yeah.
It's not a
destroy
creature type.
all other. Shrine isn't a creature type?
Shrine is
not
not
a
a creature type.
Oh, it's a super type?
It's an enchantment subtype.
Enchantment subtype.
Yeah.
So it's a shrine. Huh.
Yeah. So
So it wouldn't. If it says choose a creature type, shrines.
Yeah, I don't think they have a choose an enchantment type or just for everything but enchantments. I guess adios. You know,
exile all enchantments.
wait, nobody knows what we're talking about. Farewell.
I have the Spanish version.
Our meta is uses adios more than it uses farewell.
We can use the Japanese version. Sayonara.
And now for the 8th time, we are cancelled once again.
Yeah, that's kind of like.
Shrine.
I've got. What did I have? Like 60 of the cards.
You had a lot of the deck built because I told you to throw in Constellation from old.
Yeah,
Theros,
you did.
which is an awesome
Interesting keyword.
Yeah.
It's a really odd one.
Whenever an enchantment enters, do a thing.
Yeah.
And so.
And they see themselves enter, right?
Yeah, they do.
Pretty cool.
So that's how you can get. That's how normal Enchantress decks work. That's how you get all your card draw and your life gains and stuff. You keep the engine rolling.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it works. I don't know if it will work, but it's going to cost me.
That's the fun thing about Magic. You just play it, you just do it, and then it's like, that didn't do what I wanted it to. You can just fix it.
You fix it, scrap it.
Yeah. Like my rat deck. That's not coming back.
Yikes.
That's gone.
I will say, there are, like, I know you want to do the rat swarm with, like, just the
Yeah,
rats.
I only wanted to do the rats, and that just didn't work. It just doesn't.
But there are other rat cards, like creature type rat,
Mm-hmm.
or like ninja rat, or whatever,
Yeah.
that you could definitely, like,
Yeah, I
build
can
a
spruce up the
rat
deck. But,
Yeah.
I played it, and like, just immediately my excitement for it was just
Another
gone.
mono
I was like,
black
eh.
deck, who needs it?
Well, I really like my mono black deck.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm
When
saying,
it
you already
goes
have
off,
one.
Yeah, I don't really need another mono black.
Some of the early decks I've scrapped, I think, is basically every Voltron deck I've made.
Yeah.
Again,
Not a Voltron deck, huh?
Commander used to be different even 4 or 5 years ago. You could make a Voltron deck and be pretty successful, but
Yeah, that's one of the main things I did with my Legends Matters deck.
yeah,
Yoshi was so much the crux
yeah,
that I just like couldn't really play the game if I didn't have Yoshi out. And so my attempt was to get a wider, I have partners, and I have a little bit of a wider pool of I can still play the game if Yoshi's not on the board, kind of
Sure.
thing. I tried to do that,
yeah. Because I had like a red-white Voltron deck for a while. I eventually scrapped that one. I had a red-white-black Knight tribal Voltron. I ended up scrapping that one. Like I had this one wasn't long at all. Blue, black, red Voltron. I had two different. Sorry, not blue, black, red. Blue, red, green. I had 2 different Voltron decks in blue, red, green that have both been scrapped. Still don't have that color combination. It's not.
You gotta revive one of your old Voltron decks and see what you can do with it.
No, I'm sorry. I messed up. Blue, red, green. It's Tyranids. That color combination doesn't work for me.
Tyranids are pretty great.
Hey, it works for you. It's solid. But
I love that deck.
I cannot get that one to work for me.
I don't have a deck that I like despise playing.
That's good.
That's good. Yeah.
That's good. That's what I'm trying to fix. Is like I have these decks that I just don't want to play because they're not good enough.
If you pick up a deck and you're like, this does not bring me joy.
Yeah, it should be dismantled
Yeah.
or just upgraded.
My ninja deck is probably the closest one to that because like it just doesn't work for player.
We have to try. We need to try a one-on-one my Legend Matter deck with your ninja deck. Because I think I'm like even earlier than you are. I can get big, but then like turn 4, then you have like a big thing, and then I got to figure out how to deal with it. That'd be kind of fun.
A 9/9 unblockable.
Yeah, like I don't know what I'd do. I have a lot more removal in the deck now than I used to have. So I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, Magic is fun. It's good. It's good stuff. I enjoy it.
Shall we talk about the Warhammer? Carrying on with all of our gamer topics while we have our guest here.
I love the Tyranid deck. Now kill him.
Death to the heretics for the Emperor! Yeah.
So I've gotten into Warhammer. So I would say Colin probably is the one that like tried to orchestrate us all getting into it. You know, I would say because he was into it for a long time, and
Back in the days of 8th edition.
yeah, in ancient times. That's when I played it like twice in 8th edition and didn't understand it either time and was just like rolling dice and getting told what to do because I had no idea what was going on.
Right?
Yeah.
Now we're in 10th.
9th edition is when he got me in, and he was starting to get you guys in, but yeah.
Right in the transition of from 9th to 10th is when I actually
played mostly 9th.
Yeah.
I've only ever used 10th edition rules for my army.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
So.
And that's I think it was the perfect time for me because I liked that it was a whole like a new rule set that I wasn't learning, like I wasn't behind the 8 ball trying to figure out how to play an edition that's been around for years. Like it was perfect for me. Like I could just get in and like everyone's learning and there's lots of content to learn from, like people like, oh, this unit review and this unit, like you don't get unit reviews from 9th edition that happened all in the first 6 months. So like when 9th edition came out, so it's a different meta now, and so it was fun. It was for me. It was fun. I found some interesting like YouTubers and stuff to follow and learn, but anyway, I decided to do Astra Militarum because they're cool. And I have a 3D printer, a resin 3D printer, and I would not be playing the game if I didn't have a resin 3D printer because there's no way I'm paying Games Workshop prices.
No, I think everybody, even on the internet, collectively agrees that like, yeah, no, that's
too much.
You use a 3D printer for this hobby.
Yeah, and so I very much enjoy it. Like it's really fun. We don't play super often, but it's a hard game to have time for.
So long.
Yeah, and it's exponentially less time the more you play. Like if you don't take so long to play between games,
but there's that asymptote that just like I mean, 5 rounds is going to take you like a solid amount of time. 2.5 hours.
If it's longer and longer the less you understand your own rules. You know what I mean? Like if you know your rules and your game plan, then your turn could only take 20-30 minutes.
I think
that's what I'm saying though. If your turn,
I recognize that.
Minutes,
Yeah, I recognize that.
Take 15 minutes. 5 rounds, 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a short game, but like games we played, like the most recent game we've all been like there for was like 4 hours, 5 hours, or something ridiculous because we were all still like, what does this do? I don't know. But like I feel like the more we play, the faster it is. Well, not fast as a game.
Yeah, no, that's
we've had Magic games that go 2 hours, so it's not like it's unheard of. But
yeah, I'm pretty confident though. I mean, despite all that, and the price and the barrier to entry and the rules and all that, Warhammer is just like it's the best tabletop strategy game out there. Like nothing compares really. Like I don't know, board games try to do it. I don't know. There's other versions of other things, but yeah, Warhammer is it for like a tabletop strategy.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of companies that are trying to do alternatives, right? And there are some alternatives. One I don't know, I've not looked into it, but Bolt Action is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a well-liked system. There's any of these systems, Bolt Action or even the other Warhammer affiliated spin-offs are not nearly as big or as supported as Warhammer. So I don't think we're gonna see any like indie studio make the next Warhammer because Warhammer is the next Warhammer. Like like it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
They compete with themselves.
Yeah.
They just released another edition, which is weird, but there's an audience for it. So
they sold out all of the old world stuff. Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, yeah. That's
so
you guys are just creating competition for yourself, but in the end,
it's all your own. The money
it doesn't go get the money. So it's good business.
A lot of people are complaining that Games Workshop isn't producing stuff fast enough, and they're like, "You're making a whole new edition, but you can't even stock the Tyranids."
Yeah.
Like, so why are you? And so they're like frustrated. But once again, 3D printer. Like, as long as you're not going to tournaments, or even as long as that tournament isn't super strict, you can. Like, it doesn't matter.
Warhammer.
Yeah, like. It just doesn't matter unless you're trying to go to like the World Tour Warhammer, and like 99.9% of players aren't doing that. Just like a local tournament, nobody's about to be like, "No, you're not allowed to play." You know,
right? They don't even track like, so my unit's gonna throw grenades. They're like, actually, your model doesn't have grenades on it, so you can't throw grenades.
Yeah, they call it WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get.
What you see is what you
WYSIWYG. Yeah. So
nobody's tracking it that in depth. You're there to play a strategy game and have fun. So
and that's the thing for me is the game itself is fun, but it's kind of the universe that makes the game fun. Like if the game was unaffiliated with a cool universe, if it was just mechanics, like if this was chess, like if this was chess, it'd be like, oh, okay, that's a game, like that's something. It seems a little excessive, like there's too much rolling, there's too many phases, it's a lot to just like get, but because it's like my guys are killing your guys, like it makes it exciting and fun, like
and getting into
it's like
the emperor, you know,
and like you can think about what your character's thinking, or like the tactical decisions that your characters are making, that your player, like,
why are we
get over there fighting, and having like a story. It's like very narrative, and it feels fun and exciting. Like, that's why I like it. It's because I feel like I can have my guys, and they have a reason that they're there, and like, even if it's just like getting together and playing the game, like, oh, that's your army. It's 1,000 Suns. Like, okay, so we're fighting the 1,000 Suns on this planet because this. We can like have a little narrative, like reason to play the game, and it makes the game, even though the game is really fiddly in my opinion, it makes it still really fun to me.
It's fun.
Yeah,
the universe, the lore.
So that's why I like it. It's just fun to like. The universe that they built is super exciting.
Well, why are these orcs fighting?
Orcs, because orcs. That's what they do.
They want to fight.
Yeah. So I think it's really fun. It's a cool universe, a good time.
Yeah.
So
speaking of the universe, I'll throw this one out at you. Did you guys know we've talked about Henry Cavill's coming? He's making a Warhammer show, live action. Warhammer has an animated short series that I found out about.
Heard of that? Isn't it on their Plus?
Yeah,
Warhammer
Plus TV, but
yeah.
Yo ho yo.
You can find it somewhere.
If I'm 3D printing models.
Yeah,
it's out there in the 7 seas if you look.
Yeah. That's fair. Is it good?
I haven't seen it yet. I had a coworker actually recommend it to me.
Okay.
And he's like, I don't know anything about Warhammer, man, but this like giant dude in a suit of armor started fighting a space zombie robot. It was awesome.
Hey, honestly though, like this is like the thing that Warhammer has going for it. Just exactly to your point with the story. It's like every dude on the planet, regardless of where you're from, is like that guy. Big gun, big sword. That big monster, they go smash. And every dude is like, yes.
It's epic. Like this dude literally has like a gun that shoots rocket pods as its normal ammunition and blows up on impact, and it's not killing the bug over there, and the bug runs up and eviscerates the guy. It's just cool. It's just cool.
Yeah.
The themes, the stories behind it.
And like, I have to throw a shout out to my Deathcore Creed.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Just because like the lore behind each of these units, right? Like the lore behind Trevor's Thousand Sons, the lore behind the Necrons, the lore behind Iron Father Pharaohs, or whatever Collins like mech guys are. The lore behind you have a very cool like self-made lore for your, because Astra Militarum doesn't necessarily like have a lore.
You could choose, like I could choose,
exactly.
like my guys are Cadians or my guys are Catachan, but
there's so many. Just doing
it's more fun to do.
Yeah, but like for me, like Deathcore Creek, it's like there's one planet that nuked itself into oblivion, and then they're like, ah, yes, for the Emperor forever. We must atone for our sins.
And they're excited to do the suicide runs.
And then it's literally just like, all right, well, we got bodies. Let's start running.
We'll show them for like a month.
And then cavalry charge. And then cavalry charge with biogenetically engineered horses with explosive lances. It's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Sure.
When there's laser guns.
Yep.
It's like, yes, horses.
It's cool. Everybody likes
so you kind of created like your own lore for your group, though. I don't know if you want to like delve into that real quick,
just briefly, I guess. I think it's really fun. That's the funnest part for me, is like having the lore. But this is the gist. So I've been listening to a lot of the Gaunt's Ghost books, which are Astra Militarum. I'm Astra Militarum guy. The Gaunt's Ghost books are following the Tanith, which their whole thing was in the Sabat Wars. And so through those books, you see both the Tanith and a bunch of other various legions that they join with, or that they fight with, or that you just see in their fights. And so because I knew about those time in the universe. I was like, okay, it would be really fun for me to be set around that area. So this is the gist of the lore. They made an armory planet where they literally just terraformed like the whole planet to just store stuff for the Sabbat Wars.
Yeah.
Like early on in Sabbat Wars. And then, they stock it with the people that caretake the equipment, and so that they can like unload it on the ships and get it where they need to go. And just, it's basically just a commerce or storage hub that ships come in, they get their stock, they go, they drop stuff off. It's just
some kind of
staging point. Yeah. And so there's not like a huge population there. It's just storage with enough people to get the stuff onto the ships. But they, due to a clerical error, because clerical errors happen all the time and destroy planets.
Yeah.
Instead of destroying the planet, they just forgot that it existed. They just changed a 1 to a 0 somewhere in the binary, and then the maps did not have this planet anymore. So the whole Sabbat Wars just kind of like
the brain jar that was holding the information got shot or something.
Something that the servitor like glitched for half a second, and there you go. So everyone forgot about the planet, and the Sabbat Wars basically go by. So like, I don't know exactly how long the Sabbat Wars. I don't remember, or I don't know enough about it to say it was like forever long, but hundreds, if not 1,000 years, let's say.
Yeah.
Like long, decent amount of time. The Sabbat Wars goes by, and during that time, this is my headcanon. What happens on the planet is that they're just like kind of surviving off of the ridiculously high amount of storage of like food storage and like all of the MREs and stuff that they would have for the army. That's what like the whole planet's surviving off, but it's so much of it that like they just can for that long. And part of their trying to find new food and trying to find supplies is that like they delve into the big giant warehouses that are like their own giant spaces. And so throughout that delving and like searching for supplies and food, they start finding all of the primers that they give to the different units of Astra Militarum. So it's basically like a little Bible of like how to fight Tyranids, how to fight orcs, and it's all garbage. Like it's all propaganda for each of the guardsmen. But they do have, there's a different, like let's say the Catachan are going to fight in that war. They have like the Catachan version, like from Catachan.
Yeah.
And so since this was such a big staging point, or supposed to be such a big staging point, they had many different regiments, like just thousands and thousands of these books from the different regiments. And so over enough time, the way that these people chose to worship was to find the different books and go into like kind of tribes of like, oh, I'm going to worship the emperor by like living like the Catachan, or living like the Krieg, or living like, and they found the primers, and like their devotion to the emperor was through like training and learning and becoming like that group. And so years and years later, after like this had developed for a while, there's the different leaders, and that have like basically they're just copying different regiments as their religious practice. And the just an inquisitor happens to go by, like they like dig up some old information, like, oh, there might be a planet out here that we forgot, and like maybe there's something there, and they go and they basically rediscover this civilization that has grown on this planet of like highly regimented religious zealotry, but for their specific groups, like their skills. So like the Catachan have the skill set of like jungle warfare and like and have leaders that strive to be like the leaders that they read about in the primer, like Iron Hand Strachan. There's like one of their religious leaders is like the guy that's pretending to be Iron Hand Strachan, basically. Not like legitimately word for word, but he's taken on the persona. And so the Inquisitor gets there and is like, sweet, nobody knows about this planet? This planet's mine now. I've taken it. Like, this is my planet. And he basically conscripts the planet as his own, like, personal regiment. And his own private military that, like, and that place is stocked with everything that the Astra Militarum, like, has tanks and artillery pieces, just any Astra Militarum stuff is on the planet. So, like, the Inquisitor comes by and takes a draft and goes off and fights and does whatever the Inquisitor needs to do. And when they need more people, they go back and like, oh, I need more of the devout Kriegsmen on this one, or more of the Cadian regiment, like, and just utilizes them as his kind of private army. And so the reason I did it that way is because it's cool. I think it's kind of a fun premise. Like they accidentally became religious in a militaristic sense.
Yeah.
I think that was a cool idea. And now it makes sense canonically for them to fight anybody, because could be the Inquisitor's like kind of going a little rogue. Could be that the Inquisitor thinks he's doing the right thing, but also so does the Ultramarines totally think they're doing the right thing, and they're fighting each other because they both think they're right and they both think they're doing good. So it gets away with like, I can fight anybody with this group, and it canonically makes sense, and I can like keep a record of the fights. So anyway, that was a long-winded explanation. I apologize, but it's cool. It's fun. It's kind of fun to like think through that lore and stuff. So anyway,
Yeah, and you've prompted me to, or inspired me, I guess, to like delve into the lore of my unit as well. Just be like, why are they like, I mean, they're creeps, so like for the Emperor,
yeah,
right? Kind of the only driving
destroy the heretic.
Yeah, atonement of sin or whatever, like. But you definitely prompted me to like, why are they fighting? Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's fun to, like, at least for the Astra Militarum, since there are so many different battle line units, like you could have, like different regiments actually have different rules. So I like my head cannon because I just do a head swap and they all have the same armor because that's what was stored on the planet. But they have like, these ones have gas masks because they're trying to be like the Krieg, and then in game I can play them like they're Krieg. And or like Catachan have like leafy helmets because they're trying to be like the Catachan and like be like jungly camouflage. Like so, it's fun for me that it works, right? It lines up. It lines up with the lore, and so like you can make your guys line up with the lore. Anyway, it's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's a vast universe. Can't wait for the TV shows, man. They're gonna do a whole
I hope they do well.
Really
Warhammer cinematic universe.
Yeah,
it's gonna be insane.
I'm really pumped. I really hope that. I mean, Trevor and I have talked about this before. Amazon's killing it with their TV shows, like the visual aspects of it.
Yeah.
And so if they bring that, even like 75% of like what they had for Rings of Power or whatever, and put it into Henry Cavill's wet dream of Warhammer.
For the next 20, 30 years, we could just do different series.
Could be so sick.
In the universe.
Yeah.
I think they're going to make so much money off of it, too.
It's really important that they, in my opinion, their first foray, and I'll be brief, their first foray should be mostly like combat stuff. Mostly like the fighting. Like, I don't think we need to delve into the deep lore of the stuff at first.
No,
I think the first series should just be like, we're at war with the orcs! Kill them! Like, it's just like literally just epic fight scenes, giant titans, like and then he's just like, kill them. He's a Primarch or something,
right?
Yeah, it would. That's what I think the best beginning of Warhammer.
Like some story to like drive the battle.
Yeah, it needs some story, but the battles need to be like every episode has to have some epic fight. Like it has to. Yeah.
I stopped watching Halo, the Halo TV show, because it was
romance.
Because it was blasphemous.
And then the episode I stopped on, my brother-in-law, he swears, he's like, no, that was the best episode. There's like they had a fight scene in that episode.
I don't have to watch it.
They had 10 minutes in episode 1, and then it was 4 episodes of nothing.
Yeah.
So it's
because they actively disliked the Halo franchise and made a show about it for some reason.
Like, no, you need to see the cool fights up front. Right?
Yeah.
I think in 20 years, 10, 15 maybe years, someone else is going to come along with a Halo TV show and make it like really good.
Hopefully. It's a good IP. It's seriously a really good IP. So I hope they do good.
It's the best IP.
One of the best.
For sure.
Upper echelon.
We'll rank it.
Ooh, that should be an episode.
Yeah.
Ranking of
maybe we'll have
fiction
guests, and we can all rank.
Ooh, that'd be a fun episode.
Yeah, our new and improved studio.
You have four people somehow.
I don't know.
We'll also have to cuddle on the couch. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Cool.
And with that.
Thanks.
Dick joke.
Oh, the timer is up again. I forgot that did have to happen.
No, that was the joke.
Yeah.
That was anyway. There it is.
Cool.
Thank you for coming on the 5G podcast.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of the 5G podcast.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see more.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks.